Hey you guys, it's Britt. Today we're here to talk about Kevin Franke. He recently released, I guess, something through his attorney that I had quite a few thoughts about. I really want to talk about it, so if you're interested, please keep watching. Right, you guys. So I've mentioned Kevin's attorney, Mr. Kester, previously in other videos, and Mr. Kester has kind of gone on somewhat of a press tour where he is just talking to anyone who will listen to him, anyone who will platform him, in order to let everybody know what a wonderful father Kevin Franke is and how lovely he is. You know, basically Kevin was shunned by Ruby and kicked out of the family home, and he just could not do anything to help his children. And that's the message that Mr. Kester has been saying far and wide to everybody on every platform. This article I came across from NBC News, and the title is Ruby Franke's husband Kevin won't point fingers following child abuse charges, says lawyer. He is focused on doing what is best for his kids at this point, is what his Mr. Kester told today.com. And what I want to talk about just with this headline out the gate, he is focused on doing what is best for his kids at this point. My question is, where was that energy the 13 months that he was allegedly nowhere near his children? If he actually went 13 months without seeing his children and was simply listening to what Ruby was saying, oh, you have to go away, everything will be fine, blah, 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 why did that not cross your mind? Maybe I should check in and make sure that Ruby Doo is actually doing what is in the best interest of my kids. Most people don't, and of course, I say most because I don't want to say all, because then obviously I'll be screamed at. But most people don't just walk away from their family home and that's just kind of it. I'm going to go live over here. You take care of the little ones, and I'm just going to stay over here on my end because that's what I'm told to do. Most people don't do that. Most parents are going to end up being curious. They're going to want to see their children simply because most parents want to see their kids. They want to check in. They want to know how school, how school projects going, how's sports going. And I realized that the Franke kids were not in activities that a lot of other kids might be in, but it's just that and you guys tell me if I'm wrong down below as always, but it's that parental connection. It's that instinct to want to know, what are my kids up to? How are they doing? Are they okay? I want to go talk to them. I want to go take them to lunch. I want to go take them to the park. Like, to just like throw up your hands and say, oh, well, I'm going to stay over here because Ruby told me to. That is not something that a father with his children's best interests in mind would do. That is not, what is inherent to a parent. I don't know. But let's go through the rest of this article. It came out a couple days ago, but it says the estranged husband of Ruby Franke, the Utah YouTuber arrested for child abuse, refuses to sling mud and point fingers following accusations that he could have saved his children, says his attorney. Kevin Franke and Ruby Franke are parents of 6 children who were featured on their mom's former YouTube channel 8 Passengers since 2015. The account, followed by millions, was controversial for Ruby's uncompromising punishments. It has since been taken down. Sling mud and point fingers. So Kevin is mad that the court of public opinion is having the same stance on this of, what the hell is wrong with you? Why did you not do what was in your parental right to make sure that your kids were okay? Were they happy? Were they healthy? Like, you didn't do anything within your parental right to stop this before it got to the point of this child being restrained with duct tape and ropes and having the wounds caused by Ruby and Jodi dressed with cayenne pepper and honey and being malnourished, and eventually, luckily, being able to escape Jodi's home and go to the neighbors and get help. We do need to point fingers, because there are adults in this situation that need to be held accountable for the damage that these kids are going to have to carry with them for the rest of their lives. So we do need to point fingers, and all of the fingers are pointing at Kevin, Ruby, and Jodi, because they are the three adults in this situation that failed all of these kids. The Utah mom shared on her channel that her punishments included denying her children food and personal space, forcing them to do push-ups and skip school to clean the floor when they misbehaved. She once withheld Christmas presents from her two youngest children and took her eldest son's bed for 7 months, action she freely shared on her video channel. And this is the thing, like, it makes me mad because Ruby was being problematic and she was still given attention. And people like her thrive off of attention from people that they don't know. So when you're giving somebody who's problematic attention, whether it's in real life or online, it allows these toxic people to build up channels that have millions of followers. And yeah, they'll have haters and commentary channels will talk about them and stuff, but if the public would simply stop making stupid people famous, we might have less idiots running around with channels that have millions or hundreds of thousands of followers. Last week, Ruby's sisters, Julie and Bonnie, both posted YouTube videos stating they were unaware of their sister's behavior because she had cut contact with her family. Drop in the comments down below if you guys want me to react to Julie's video. I did already react to Bonnie's, but in all fairness, if you want me to give thoughts about Julie's as well, I'm happy to do that. But I figured since they echoed kind of the same message, I just responded to Bonnie's because that was the first one that I came across. But if you guys do want me to react to Julie's, I'm happy to do that. Just let me know down below. Bonnie claimed that Kevin was the responsible party for protecting his family. It was Kevin's job to check in on things, and he did not, she said in her video. And, you know, I fully agree with Bonnie. Even if I don't agree with everything that she's put out publicly as far as content goes, I fully agree with her on this because she is taking a strong stance against Kevin, as she should. Because, again, we go back to him being a father and not doing what was in his parental rights to make sure that his kids were okay. Things progressed to such a dark, tragic place for these children. If he had stepped in and done what was in his rights, then maybe their pain and suffering could have come to an end before it ended this way. Mr. Kester went on to explain what I've already covered before. He says Kevin did not want to be separated. He wanted to work through concerns as a family. There was never any formal written decree of separate maintenance or separation agreement. The separation was under the terms prescribed by Ruby and Jodi Hildebrandt. Kester addressed Bonnie's claims against Kevin, and he said, I think she admits that she too was out of the loop and had not any contact with the children herself. However, Kevin is more interested in reaching out to his children, family, and friends to heal past trauma and events. But Mr. Kester, you cannot literally sit there and say that literally an aunt's role and a father's role are even remotely the same. Kevin had parental rights that Bonnie and other siblings would not, because they are extended family. They are not a parent. So to even make that comparison, oh, well, she said she was out of the loop too. Yeah, she was out of the loop too, but she's not their father. So let's actually focus on the person who needs to have the fingers pointed at them. And in this situation, it is Jodi, Ruby, Kevin. Kevin is making an effort to rebuild and bridge these relationships rather than sling mud and point fingers. He is focused on doing what's best for his kids at this point, even if that means undergoing some introspection. None of that process, however, is going to be creating more distance between him and his family, including his extended family. He wishes Bonnie and her family well as we all travel down this path of healing. And I'm all for being on the path of healing. I am all for these children being able to hopefully at least partially heal so that they can live normal lives. And, you know, of course, like, who is not here for that? But at the same point, we can't just completely skim over what Kevin didn't do and expect everybody to be hush hush and quiet. Oh yeah, let's not talk about that right now. Let's not talk about Kevin. Let's not place any blame. Like, no, we need to talk about that, because things might have not been as bad if he would have done, again, what was in his parental right to do. I don't give a damn what Jodi Hildebrandt told him to do. I don't care what Jodi Hildebrandt wanted him to do. If you as a parent have any, amount of fatherly love, you would think that most parents would not want to go 13 months without being around their kids. In previous footage published by 8 Passengers, Kevin appears to support the decision to send their son, then 14, to the Anastasi Foundation Wilderness Therapy Program, an outdoor behavioral health care program for youth who struggle with defiance and other behavioral problems. What many of you are criticizing and calling abusive are actually things that mental health professionals have counseled us to, Kevin said in that video. There have been many other videos talking about Anastasi and talking about their videos produced from people who are licensed in mental health and know what they're talking about. So you guys can do your own research on that. But the majority of people agree that there is more harm than good that is done with camps like Anastasi. A lot of these kids come home with hurt, pain, trauma that, again, they carry with them for the rest of their lives. The hurt that adults do to children and then force those kids to carry it with them for the rest of their lives are scum of the earth. And then it goes over Ruby and Jodi being arrested, and it finishes by saying Custer recently told Law and Crime, a multimedia network, that the dad was absolutely shocked by the child abuse allegations. He said that Kevin had not recently seen his children at all, as Ruby wanted to separate while they worked on their marriage. Custer told the outlet that Ruby assured Kevin that their children were happy in his absence. But again, fatherly instinct would be, hey, I want to come over and hang out with my kids. Hey, I want to see my kids. Hey, I want to come over and go out to lunch or have dinner with my kids. And he would have probably seen that things were not okay and those kids were not happy and healthy. According to Custer, Kevin never had any reason to believe that his children were being abused. But then again, even if you don't have the thought, you weren't even present. You weren't around. You weren't checking in on your kids. You weren't wanting to go over and spend quality time with them. You were just over here because Ruby told you to stay over there. How ridiculous. Custer said in that interview if he had one inkling that his kids were being abused and that this separation wasn't for any other purpose than to figure out a way between he and Ruby to reunite their family, he would have been down there in 2 seconds. He should have been down there in 2 seconds anyway. Because now what you are is an absent father. My opinion. Physical abuse has never been a part of their family, Custer told Law and Crime. And that's where the article ends. Again, I'll link it down below as I always do. But, yeah, of course you're going to say physical abuse wasn't part of your family. But there are other forms of abuse that were published on the 8 Passengers channel for years. You are building children to have an unhealthy relationship with food, and you are causing them pain as their parents. And I think that it's absolutely heartbreaking, but I wanted to share this because I want to make sure that I'm covering Kevin as often as I can, because yes, Ruby and Jodi are the ones that were caught red-handed, and the deplorable conditions that these kids were in is their fault. I will always go back to Kevin dropped the ball, and that is how I feel. Those are going to be my thoughts as of right now. Leave yours down below and let me know about Julie's video if you want a reaction. So I will let you guys go for now. If you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.